The last thing you want to hear while listening to your favorite podcast is another gimmicky ad. NJM feels the same way. It's why they provide award-winning service without the use of mascots or repetitive jingles. And when you upgrade to NJM, you could even save on your auto insurance. Better service and possible savings? Sounds like a win-win. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Visit njm.com/podcast for a quote to see how much you could save on your auto insurance.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We are now in part 2 of the interview I did with Ashley Adams around career advancement, how to job seek in 2023. And y'all, if you listen to part 1, you already know Ashley is passionate about what she's talking about, and baby, she has done the work with people. So we're going to finish off the part 2 of this episode, and I hope you really enjoy it, and I will see y'all next week. Now let's get into the show. The Therapy is a Christian podcast is all things mental health and Christ. We specifically talk about how mental health and God are merged together to foster growth, healing, and making mental health a normal conversation. I'm your host, Roslyn and Renee, and welcome to the show.
The final things I'll say about this is we're also going to do it in alignment with what you're not good at, right? You don't like dealing with people, but you want to be a project manager. You don't even like people. Project managers are dealing with projects, people, systems, budgets. You got 17 different stakeholders. They're all reporting to you, and you don't like people.
You're in constant email threads. Yes, you're in constant email threads. You get emails from random people.
Notification after notification. Dependency after dependency. But you don't like waiting. Like it's like I have mentees who are like, I really want to transition into human resources, but because I want to help people, but you actually don't like processes. You don't like rules. You're a risk taker. You're an innovator. Ain't nothing innovative in HR. Nothing. They've been doing the same bunch of same. So I'm not saying you can't be the innovator there. What I'm saying is let's make sure it's value aligned. Let's make sure that it's not aligned with our weaknesses, and then we find ourselves in an uphill battle, right? You remember my value was around ease. I'm not saying it's got to be easy, but we're going to take the ease. We're going to follow ease. Like, we're not just going to be out here doing the most with the least.
And I think what you're explaining, a couple of things I'm pulling from a lot of the work that you do, is to be 100% honest with yourself, which I love that you are not. I love that in a lot of ways that you are black and white, Ashley, that you don't give a lot of fluff and gray, because a lot of times people be out here trying to give us the fluff and gray. But like, I think it's very important for us to realize that in order to be honest with yourself, you can't be fluffy. You can't. You have to literally say, what is it that I want? And that vulnerability within itself is scary, but also that vulnerability is really honestly deep down what you want. And you don't want to be in another job that's miserable. I knew very early on that I did not really want to work for anyone. Now I work for myself, and I'd be going off on myself, but still at the same time. But if I did go back to work, I would really have to explore like what that would look like for me, because it looks very different from being able to work on a team with people. And so that authenticity and like really being able to have that authentic conversation with yourself, finding out what your values are. If you don't do that, and also if you don't do that with people who are really supporting you, you will walk into this thing blindly just because it looks cute. Just because tech look cute don't mean you really need to be there. There are so many other like careers and industries that you can go into. And the good thing about working with a career coach is they're aware of all of those things. I think you and I were talking about this, which I know you can address later, but Ashley is looking at the job market. She's reading the labor news. I don't even know what it's called, sis, but you read all the
labor statistics. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So like, you're not just talking to someone who doesn't understand this. So I think you bring like a very fresh and realistic perspective to your clients about the job process. So once somebody starts the process of working with you, and even thinking about looking for a job is already intimidating. Like, I can remember my little short time of trying to do it as a project manager, because I feel like I was somebody when I had got that resume redone, girl. And I can remember just applying. And then literally I can remember getting emails a couple weeks ago. This was back in like August, September. And you don't hear anything back. And so feeling so discouraged. And so how do you feel like having this real perspective helps them in searching for jobs, but also looking for advancement in their current job? Because I think also too, leveraging your current role is also something you really help them do too.
Sure. So there are a lot of myths about the world of work, right? One of the biggest is just put yourself out there, right? Just put yourself out there, cast a wide net, make sure you're networking. All of these myths, these things that are not true, that don't work, that don't yield any results, but that people tell you to do. You'll see LinkedIn posts about, I've been applying for hundreds of jobs. Like, girl, it's not like you wasted hundreds of hours and hundreds of valuable, hours of valuable time. And so like, I think that a big part of having a career coach, I like to think of myself as a thought partner, right? Like, I'm here to be a partner in your thoughts. I'm here to break down your thoughts, to elevate your thoughts, to help you dismiss thoughts that are not helpful to you, right? help you be intentional in your thought patterns and processes. So a big part of my work is dispelling myths, right? Like really like honestly telling you that, hey, that strategy is outdated, or hey, what you're talking about is actually ill-advised.
Because the way that I looked for a job when I first graduated from college is the way I looked for a job when I was 16.
Yes.
When I worked at Wendy's, I just went and talked to the manager and she gave me a piece of paper and I filled it out.
Yes.
Now you got to go on the internet. Like, you got to, it's way different.
For
even
sure.
in the short span of time. So like, I'm pretty sure even now with the wave of LinkedIn and all of that, now this is a huge slick social media for
sure,
for corporate people. Now these jobs are running to LinkedIn because that's where the people are at. That wasn't available like 4 or 5 years ago. Right. So it looks so different. So the way that we coming out of college apply to jobs looks so different. Okay, talk about that, sis, because I didn't even think about that.
And so I think that one of the things that is really supportive in my mentorship approach is that there's a proven framework, right? Like, we're going to be working in a framework. You're going to have homework every single week. I'm going to be walking you through a specific and targeted strategy. You're going to review the strategy. You're going to do an assignment related to the strategy. You're going to submit it to me. I'm going to review it. I'm going to give you feedback. You're probably going to redo the assessment or the assignment because you're going to have some gaps. You're going to have some holes, but it's a learning process. You resubmit it. I look at it again, and you move on, right? So there's a proven framework, right? That $1.5 almost $1 million didn't just come from me dropping gems and sharing perspective, right? I'm here with a proven framework. I have a PhD in educational leadership. I know how to teach. I know how to walk you through a process and help you get results. So like, there's a very structured framework. The first part of that framework, Roslyn, is around helping you get really clear on exactly what you are good at and what you are not good at. Right? Because a lot of times you don't even know what you're good at. Like, you're just like, I just been working really hard. Or like, I feel like I'm good at project management, but I don't know if that's a valuable skill. And I plus don't know how to talk about it. Plus I have a background in therapy. So I don't even know if people will make the connection. Like, it's like all of that stuff that we need to work through. Right. And I think a lot of times when people think about a career coach, they're like, great, Ashley's going to rewrite my resume. And yes, we are going to get to materials, your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn. We're going to work through that. But first we need to just figure out what you're good at, girl. We need to figure out what you're not good at. Because a lot of y'all applying for jobs that's full of stuff you don't even want to do. But you're trying to cast a wide net.
Or just even applying because it's the degree you got.
For sure. Like, for sure. And I think that's what leads to this imposter syndrome and this feeling of being defeated and this feeling of like, nobody's calling me back, because you're setting yourself up for that feeling. Because of course somebody's going to call you back, girl. They like, you don't have no skill sets related to this. Your materials are not aligned with this. You don't even believe in this, right? So no one's going to call you back, but you're setting yourself up for that. So we're actually going to build a career roadmap that's actually going to help yield results, the kind of results that you would like. It's going to be value led. We're going to review your materials, your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn, making sure they're optimized and that employers are actually reaching out to you. A lot of my mentees are not doing a lot of job searching, right? Like they're not going out and shining a light under a couch. Employers are reaching out to them. Why? Because their materials are optimized in the public spaces where they need to be. And employers are saying, hey, we'd like to talk to you about an opportunity, right? And so we'll work on that. We'll work on interview strategy. We'll work on negotiation strategy. We'll work on managing up, right? So once you get the job, what should you be doing there? How should you be talking to your boss? How should you be goal setting in the job? We're going to talk about, what it means to start in a new role in a new industry, right? So my work is not just help you get a job and best of luck into your future endeavors, but it's really about setting out a roadmap to walk you through that full process. And then you mentioned, like, how do I support women who are already working in a job, maybe a job that they enjoy, to really position themselves for higher level roles or for more visibility or to feel fulfilled in that. I also support women who are at a mid-level or senior level with executive coaching. So there we're talking about office politics. We're talking about managing and supervising a team. We're talking about service optimization and how to make sure the work that you're doing with your team is actually optimized to your clients, your customers, your students, whoever the outside stakeholder is. So of course, a lot of women that I serve are coming to me for job search strategy to find and secure a new job. But I do have an executive coaching program as well that helps that more mid-level or senior level woman who's really looking for some executive leadership coaching and need that kind of support. There's support for you and Mentor Me programs as well.
I love that. And I have so much to say about all of that. My one question is, when you get mentees, a lot of times, do you find that they're not enjoying their jobs, but they end up staying at their jobs and advancing because they are able to advocate for themselves and also see their skill set? Like, does that happen often?
No, I think that most people aren't able to fake it that long. Most people hate their job, and they what happens is, and there's this very dangerous thing that happens around dissatisfaction, right? So we're working and we're doing a good job, and we get a bad review, or a boss says something crazy to us, and then we say something crazy back, or we don't start performing at a higher level, and then resentment builds in, and then we get angry, and then this is just how it is here, and this is just how this industry is. Can't nobody in this industry make no money anyway. So we start to lie to ourselves, like literally we're perpetuating lies based on our experience, and then we settle there. Or I see women who are like, they just got the new job, they just got the higher level position, but now they're experiencing massive amounts of self-doubt and self-worth, and can I really do this, and did they hire the right people, because I don't even know what I'm doing, right? Like lots of imposter syndrome and second guessing. And so it's usually that those are the two places where women come and find me, where like, I'm excited about this role, and I got this far, Ashley, by myself, and I'm really proud of that. But I know to get to the next level, I'm going to need mentorship, or I literally hate this job and these people, or I'm being overworked, underpaid, undervalued, and I need support getting out, unstuck from this place, and actually getting to a higher level in my career. So I think that that's where most folks find me.
I love that. I mean, this is why if I ever go back to work, this is going to be like my self-fulfilling prophecy to myself. Okay, if I ever go back to work, ever. Well,
I will tell you, Roslyn, that I am regularly approached by entrepreneurs.
As you should.
I will tell you, I mean, obviously I'm an entrepreneur. I own a business. I also work full time in my industry, but I'm regularly approached by entrepreneurs. I know my messages resonates with you all. I have definitely had entrepreneurs in my program. I have a mentee, Brianka, who runs a very, successful digital. Yes, Bree is my client. She runs a very successful digital strategy company. She was pregnant, was like, I need some health insurance. I was like, absolutely, we can get the baby, some health insurance. She joined my Mentor Me Accelerator program and started her new role 8 months pregnant. 3 weeks later, went on maternity leave, had that good 2 months, that good full pay, and then returned back to work. So like entrepreneurs, like I'm here to serve you. Like if we just need to collect a bag, if we just need to be creative, if we need to now move our business to a side hustle, that's available to you. I think that sometimes we're just like, well, I'm an entrepreneur. Girl, you have a job. Or like, I work, girl, you better go get you a side hustle. Like it's available to you. So really. I have long thought about like opening up just like a coaching cohort or supportive space to entrepreneurs, but y'all get on my nerves too because y'all don't like to listen. So that's that. But I do serve women at every capacity.
No, seriously, it runs in my mind, but I always like, I really, really do enjoy like working for myself. But then I've also thought, well, maybe I'm not giving myself the opportunity. But here we are. That's just me being like super indecisive right now, at least. And also still being very early in my entrepreneurship journey, which happens. It's very normal. But anyway, but I say that to say, like, Ashley knows her stuff. I don't, in my little time of watching you, I'm like, sis be in her bag in all the good ways. Okay. So with that being said, though, I think, and I understand investment in yourself. Like, I know that is something that I understand as a business owner, but just personally, the power of self-development. That is not something that's often taught to us, especially in college or just in general. Like, you hear personal development, self-development, all that kind of stuff. I want you to talk about the importance of really investing in your career development. Why is it necessary? Why is it needed? And I know you talked a little bit about this, about like stuff being outdated, but there are people that are really out here doing the work with you, but also you're doing the work as their coach. So I want you to really talk about like, what is the importance of investment, especially as it relates to career development?
Sure. Before I even start into investment and career development, I just want to invite women in general and Black women specifically to prioritize yourself. It is so critically important that you prioritize yourself. And what that looks like for you personally is individualized. So personalizing yourself might be, taking every third Friday off. It might mean, telling your children they need to ask their father. It might mean, telling somebody no if you can serve on X committee at the church, like whatever it is. I really just want to invite you to prioritize yourself. And just like you prioritize yourself with finally using that healthcare benefit to go to therapy, just like you finally prioritize yourself by investing $60 a month to get that gym membership and get that, physical coaching or, coaching with, your health. I think the same is true for career, right? And so I want you to see career coaching and career development as maintenance, right? Like, just like you get your car maintenance, just like you get, the house inspection every so often, like you need to be thinking about this as regular maintenance. The investment to work with me in mentorship is typically a low 4-figure investment. I don't have any programs that are over $5,000, and payment plans are available in all of my programs.
Which I'm going to tell y'all, that's a phenomenal.
The last thing you want to hear while listening to your favorite podcast is another gimmicky ad. NJM feels the same way. It's why they provide award-winning service without the use of mascots or repetitive jingles. And when you upgrade to NJM, you could even save on your auto insurance. Better service and possible savings? Sounds like a win-win. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Visit njm.com/podcast for a quote to see how much you could save on your auto insurance.
Oh, phenomenal.
Awesome. Yeah, it's approachable, right? It's approachable, and it's built like that intentionally because, when you think about, let's say that my program is, $4,000, right? Let's say that on average, my mentees are earning $30,000 salary increases in 8 weeks. They pay me $4,000. They're earning $30,000 salary increases. That's a $26,000 in return on investment. You still paying back $50,000 for a degree that you don't even use. You went to graduate school and took out a $50,000 loan for a degree you didn't really understand, right? Okay. You're considering going back to school, right? For something that you don't even know how to apply. And so, my job is to help you use the degrees, the skills, the credentials that you already have. And the investment is absolutely approachable. And like I said, there are payment plans available. But I will tell you that every mentee I ever have served, and this is like literally flat out, every mentee that I have ever served has said, not only is this investment worth the financial, the financial commitment that I made to it, but wow, like this changed my mind about who I am and how I show up in the world. This changed my mind about what's available to me, and the mindset shifts alone. I mean, and I know that, you know, for us, like enlightened people, Roslyn, like that makes sense, right? You're like, you know, it opens it up. But for somebody who's like, girl, what you mean $4,000 for you to change? But like, I'm telling you that the world is bigger. The world is bigger, more beautiful, more brighter. The world of work is much more beautiful and brighter than you know. I grew up thinking I had to hate my job because everybody around me hated working for the man. I thought that that was all that was available for me. I remember my first job really loving it, but being ashamed to say I liked working because all everybody did around me was hate their job and complain about it. I remember the first time I served a woman who was like, Ashley, like, I'm the first person to work at a job where they get paid even if they don't go to work. Like that's like revolutionary for my family, because everybody else in my family is paid on an hourly wage, which means if they don't show up, they don't get a check. She's changing the whole legacy of her family because I was able to help her secure a salary job. I get so excited when my mentees get their first 6 figures, right? Because it's like, oh my God, I've never known anybody to have this many zeros coming in their check every month, right? So it's really, the investment is absolutely worth it, but you don't have to take my word for it. You can go right to my website. You can go to mentor-me.org/success-stories. There are hundreds. I mean, I've served hundreds of women and there are hundreds of testimonials on there, honey. You don't have to take my word for it, but when you see the transformation of the $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $80,000 salary increases.
Talk about your mentee that got like a raise and they got another raise.
Oh, for sure. I mean, my mentee Patty got an $80,000 salary increase, and she's like, "Oh, Ashley, we're this allowed us to expand our family. Like, I have babies off of the work that I do." She's like, "Oh, I told my husband if I get a raise above 50K, we got to have a baby. They got the baby pregnant right now." You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the power of mentorship. I claim that baby, right? I have a mentee, Natalie, who got a $27,000 salary increase after working with me for 8 weeks. And this was in her current organization. She secured a director level role, secured a $27,000 salary increase, moving up in the organization. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, her employer was like, "Hey, we did a salary optimization project and we recognize at your level of work that we are not paying you adequately. We're going to add an additional $25,000 to your salary." $25,000 to your salary. So she has earned more than $50,000 in salary increases, raises, and promotions in this year, in this calendar year. So I mean, there's just more available to you. And I think that sometimes we have such limiting beliefs, right? This industry don't make no money. I hear it all the time. You can't make no money in education. You can't, everything in, this industry move faster. This is going to take, like, it's just all these lies that you believe that are really holding you back from the potential that's available. And so we're going to work to break up those beliefs so that you can actually get to the things that you really desire in your career.
And also, I think which I go back to the part about you not giving people fluff. Like, Ashley's not on here giving you 1 minute TikTok video about, oh my gosh, this career is this industry. Like, this is not that. This is like real change. And I think that I'm someone who has made several investments in my personal development. And I can tell you, literally, just a resume change, a LinkedIn change is just the strategy. That's not the real work. The real work is the foundational pieces of your mindset changing, you believing in yourself to show up and do those things and do them well, and also show up to interviews and be skilled and be confident in yourself because you know what you have, versus just showing up randomly because you just applied and you got a call back. Like, you can really show up and negotiate. Like, you talked about negotiation. Like, that's not often discussed, especially for a lot of my listeners who are like in their early mid-20s. Like, these are things that you need to know early on. Like, yes, you are bombarded with a bunch of information, but you need to be able to know, like, some of this information that can be just fluff. Like, you really do need to be open to investment into your career even early on, and knowing that that is an opportunity that's necessary for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, I serve women. I mean, my youngest mentee probably ever was 22. I've had served women in their 70s, and all of them are like, am I too young? Am I too old? And, do I not have enough experience? Do I have too much experience? Like there's limiting beliefs, there's enough to go around. But one of the things that I absolutely will say is that one of the things that I'm really proud of is that we're going to do work that's so specific in your career development under my mentorship that like the offer that you get is going to be so good that we don't even have to I think that some people are scared of negotiation because it's like, well, they gave me the offer, I don't want them to take it away, I don't want to seem greedy, I don't want to seem ungrateful. And so like a lot of that's just mindset about your commitment to advocating for yourself and being able to publicly say what you want. But one of the things that with my mentee Tiffany just secured a $63,000 salary increase, went again from being an entrepreneur. She actually happens to also be a licensed social worker working in the therapy space. I helped her secure a director level role in education. A $63,000 salary increase. The offer came in so good that we only had to negotiate. I mean, I think that she probably got like after the salary offer, she probably got like an 8% salary increase after negotiations, but it was $63,000 anyway. I mean, it's only up from here.
That is someone's
entire paycheck. She got a salary increase from what she was making as an entrepreneur. And one of the things that I remember me and Tiffany going round and round about, she was like, well, Ashley, I just want to be, I don't want to leave my business where I'm doing well and, bringing in a salary and not see the same salary, in the world of work. Right. And I was like, well, Tiffany, your business, in 2021, for example, her business maybe made, I don't know, like maybe her business made $150,000, maybe $200,000. You're not bringing home $200,000. You're not bringing home 50%. You're not bringing home $100,000. You're going to get health benefits over there. You're going to get paid time off over there. You're going to get, she got a credit to a car credit, like a $4,200 car credit, because she got to sometimes drive her car. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, the benefit is available to you. And that's a strategy that we bake into the program, right? We're only applying for jobs that are actually aligned with what you want, right? And so this is why my mentees see so much success. I had a woman email me earlier today and say, hey, Ashley, I'm interested in your program, but I want to know, is it 100% proven? Will it 100% work for me? I said, yeah, absolutely it will. I can give you 100%, like, it's going to work for you. Why? Because I only accept women I can help. Actually will say, hey, I sometimes I'll have people who are like enrolled like in industries that don't have career growth right now. Like, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not the mentor for you. There are some people who do resumes if you want, my mentees see so much success because of my integrity, right? Of the way that, like, I'm only going to bring you in if I can help you, and I'm going to commit to supporting you to the career success that you desire. And I think that is what differentiates me in the market, but it's also why my mentees see, like, when you see my testimonials, you're like, dang, she got like a $30,000 salary. She got a $60,000. Like, you don't see those numbers.
You've been posting at least one salary increase a week. I don't know if that's
for sure.
Like...
Yeah, and let me be clear. Like, I only have I probably have somewhere between 5 and 8 women in my programs at any point in time. So while I have served hundreds of women, you're not going to be in a cohort with 70 other women, right? Like when you think about the numbers I'm churning out, and really it's the numbers my mentees are churning out, it's not like I'm coaching 90 women a week, right? I'm coaching 5 to 8, maybe 12 at most. But my mentees just get results very fast. So that's why I'm able to talk about it so successfully. But I think that what I want women to know is that you can advocate for yourself. You can negotiate, right? Like that thing that, like, especially for Christians, because I know this is therapy for Christians, like this is like, well, I'm just grateful for what I got, just grateful. Like, you can be grateful and desire more. You can be grateful for the job that you have.
Be grateful, sis, and want more.
Want more. You can desire more. You can have more. You can be grateful and have more. And then you can get the offer. You can even ask for even more. Like greed is not a part of our equation, right? Like, we can be grateful and we can have more. And I think that is, and not just the mindset of that, but a strategy for that too. I'm going to give you a script. So we don't have to, you don't have to be shaking in your boots. You can just use a script, girl, fill it out, email it to them people when it's time to negotiate. So that's available for you too.
Yes. Okay. So just to kind of close this out, what would your encouragement be to people who are looking for a job or wants to grow in their career, but they feel extremely discouraged about it?
Yeah.
That's a real feeling.
Yeah. My first advice to you would just, that like, I hear you, I see you, I honor that feeling. We spend so much time at work. We spend so much time at work, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. We spend more time at work than we do with our families, with our faith walk, with our friends. We're spending a lot of time there. So if you feel disconnected, if you feel disillusioned, if you feel overworked and underpaid, that's a real feeling. And I just want to like know that I see you and that you're not alone in that feeling. And that's a great place. Like that's fertile ground for you to get help, right? You're not too desperate. You're not too downtrodden. You're not too raggedy to get help. And I'm here to help you. I would say the first step would be to reach out to me. You can schedule a call with me right on my website. It's free. It's no pressure, but it's an opportunity for you to for us to just talk about what's going on in your career. I want to know like how we got here. I want to know what you're good at. Like, what are you actually a rock star at? Maybe you feel like it's nothing, but let's talk about that too. Like, let's talk about what you're not good at, what your fears are, what your concerns are about your career. And together we'll just decide if mentorship might be a good fit for you. If it is, we'll get you onboarded right away. You don't got to wait till next week. You don't got to wait till next year. You know, we talked about this earlier, but one of my commitments to myself and one of the commitments I invite you to take, if you're under the sound of my voice, is to do without delay, right? Like, I think that so often we are stuck in a constant loop of comparison and research. If you heard something that resonates, do without delay. Go to mentor-me.org and schedule that call. And I'm looking forward to helping you.
Yeah. And I truly do believe this, that long delay creates disappointment. Because what you're wanting can most times be right in front of your face. But when you delay it, either an opportunity can pass you by, or you're just constantly going to be in a state of continuous disappointment because of this continued delay.
Yeah. And I also think that it hypes it, right? So the longer you delay it, the longer you start to imagine it in your mind, and the hype and the hype and the hype. And so nothing can reach that, right? Nothing can reach that. So like oftentimes my mentees will be, I've been job searching for years. Actually, I've been job searching for years. They get to me and it's like, they can't even celebrate getting the callbacks because it's like, well, what about this? What if they don't? And I'm like, girl, celebrate this. You've been job searching for this. You ain't got no callback in years. But it's you hyped it so much, you waited for so long that nothing can reach the pinnacle of what you were hoping to get. And so do without delay. I love that. A long delay creates disappointment. That's definitely something that resonates with me.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay. So why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
Yes.
Because y'all, I love Ashley. I be starstruck, sis. Okay.
You are so silly. I appreciate that. I received that. I honor that. That fills me up. You can find me online, right? You can find me online on Instagram and on Twitter at Ashley Ashire. That's ASHLEY ASSHIRE. So Ashley Ashire on Instagram and on Twitter. You can absolutely follow me on LinkedIn. I am Ashley A. Adams, PhD. You can find me there on LinkedIn. And if you know that you heard something that resonates and you want to get access to my supportive mentorship, you can go right to my website at mentor-me.org. That's mentor-me.org to schedule a call with me. I'm accepting new mentees right now, and I look forward to serving you.
Yes, and I'll have all of Ashley's information in the show notes. So I love y'all. Thank you so much for listening to another episode, and I will see y'all next week. Bye. This episode of the Therapy is a Christian podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you think you might be feeling depressed, stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, which I know we all have, BetterHelp is here to help. So I think about all the time when I first started therapy back in 2018, and if I had never taken the step, where my life would be at now, especially having had now become married, have a kid, gone through a pandemic, being pregnant in a pandemic. And I remember just in general, when I got engaged to my husband right before starting therapy, how overwhelmed overwhelmed I was. Just the thoughts of, I'm about to commit my life to this person and I don't even know how to cope with anxiety, and just feeling so overwhelmed all the time. And so I'm so thankful that I took the step to actually go to therapy, because I really believe I gained so many tools from having that experience. And now, still being in therapy now, 4.5 years later, I've learned so much throughout those different transitions, specifically just having a space for myself. So BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. When you talk to your therapist, you're able to talk to them in a private online environment at your convenience. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be in your area. You may be a college student and really needing an online experience. You may be a working mom who doesn't have the time to actually go drive to a therapist's office. Or you may be somebody that works from home and likes the convenience of being able to take a break during your day to meet with your therapist. All you need to do is just fill out a small questionnaire to be able to help assess your specific needs, and then you'll get matched with a therapist within 48 hours. Then you'll schedule a secure video and phone session, plus you'll be able to exchange unlimited messages. And that is so amazing, because everything you share with them is completely confidential, which means they can't go out and share your business with other people. So the useful part about this, and I think what is amazing, is when we transitioned into the pandemic, I was able to actually meet my therapist online, and I did not realize how much of a convenience that was. And it was so helpful. So if you get matched with a therapist and you don't like them, or you don't feel like you are really able to open up to them, you can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime. So y'all, join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. I have a special offer for you guys, for the Therapy as a Christian podcast listeners, where you can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Roslyn Renee. That's better, BETTER, help, HELP.com/Roslyn Renee, ROSLYNRENE. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast. Now let's get back to the show.